everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. If you're new to my channel, I am so glad you found me. I happen to be a gardener here in Missouri. I live in the middle part of the state, and I garden in a zone 6AB, and I just am so excited to have you here today because I'm excited myself. I am going to take out the old and put in some new. It is just a couple days away from the first day of October. Spring is in the air. It's about 65 degrees today this morning. It has just been a beautiful transition to fall. So today I'm going to swap out some of my old summer annuals for some fall beauties. So I'm not really sure how far I'll get today. I've got several different containers that I want to swap out from summer to fall. For sure, these beautiful aqua pots that are right here in front of my greenhouse, they're going to get a refresh. I've got some pots also that I want to put on my back screened-in covered porch. And maybe, if time allows, I'll get around to going to the front porch of our house where I've got a couple of unique stone cement urn planters that flank either side of the front door. I think that could use a refresh too. So before I get started in swapping out summer and installing fall, I'm going to ask you guys to like and subscribe, and I'm going to take you in the greenhouse and show you some of the plants that I'm going to pot up today. All right, so let's just turn the camera around here, and I just want to share with you some of the things I'm going to use in the pots today. These beautiful pansies, aren't they gorgeous? They're kind of pumpkin colored. They're not yellow, they're not orange, they're sort of somewhere in between, and I just think that they're going to look great near this mum and these ornamental pepper plants. So they were picked because the shades of this mom, these peppers, and these I thought would make a good combo. And then back behind this mom here, we've got these two mums, and they're going to be a gorgeous purpley pink. And I chose these sweet little pansies to go with them. And when I take these out front here, the greenhouse, I'll explain why I chose purple for this space. So I thought I'd start here with this pot. I know this is going to be hard for you to watch. I'm going to take these plants out. They're annuals. They have been in this pot since May. I've gotten 5 months of gorgeous beauty out of these. They have served their purpose. They're an annual. So I'm going to pull these out, put them in here, and of course, I don't waste anything, so they're going to be going to the compost bin because I'm going to need a lot of compost for our huge project this coming spring. I won't tell you about it now. You'll have to wait and see, but we, of course, always like to compost things, so this material will not go to waste. But just as a reminder of what was in here this summer, this is beautiful Gara. First time growing Gara. It was my centerpiece and it was spectacular. I will definitely grow it again. So if you're looking for a good wow in the center of a nice big pot, I would encourage you to consider Gara. Also, I've got 3 Supertunia mini vistas that did really well. I'm going to be pulling them out. But the reason why I chose the purple mums and maybe some of the purple and white pansies for these pots is because this is, some of you know, Supertunia Vista Bordeaux. And I thought these 2 little pots with the Bordeaux are looking so great still. I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and maybe do a purple and white scheme. So that's kind of my thinking behind it. The purples aren't going to match perfectly, but they're going to be in the same shade of purple. And we'll see how long these Supertunia Bordeaux's, you know, hold on. Actually, petunias are quite a tough plant, but these have seen, you know, better days, and they're ready to go. But I think I'm going to hang on to these for a little bit. So I think I'll just turn the camera on and you can watch the process. And again, you might want to look away from the video when I start yanking these out, but know that they will not go to waste. They'll go into the compost bin. So I just thought I'd bring you in here a little closer so that you can see what it looks like after taking out the old annuals. And I want you to see what it looks like because this is one of my aqua pots. Aqua pots are an amazing invention by, I think it's Jack Barnwell, and this pot is self-watering. So do you see this little tube or this little daisy over here? So this is actually a tube that goes all the way down into this pot. And down here, there is a 3-gallon reservoir that holds a bunch of water. And so I do not enjoy watering pots. Like, that's not one of my favorite chores to do. And so I have several of these around the property because I can fill this up about once a week and I don't have to water more than once a week, the big pots, which is amazing and wonderful, especially in the heat of the summer. In the spring and in the fall, I don't have to water hardly, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. However, because we're almost to October, I am not going to fill this reservoir. What I don't want to have happen is have that water remain in this reservoir throughout the winter, freeze and break. The reservoir, not the pot. The pot won't break. So I'm going to water the mums and the pansies I put in here by hand. And again, they're only going to be in here for, mums don't last long, so maybe about a month. The pansies actually can take quite a bit of frost. And so once the mum is done, I'll pull it out and I'm going to leave these beautiful little pansies in there and see how long they last. No fertilizer will go in here. This is the old soil and I'm using this soil. My goodness, I'm only going to get another month to 6 weeks out of these containers and there's no reason to swap out the soil. That's just a ridiculous expense that I don't think is necessary. So, all right, I'll put it back on the tripod and I'll show you how I plant them in. So it's already warming up here, believe it or not. So I jumped over in the shade just to mention a couple of things. So while these 2 pots are done, put mums and pansies in them. You might have noticed some things as you watched me put them in and water them in. A couple of things. First, I decided to position the mums, because they're huge, towards the back of the pot, and then I placed my little pansies out of the front of the pot so that they won't get lost in the beautiful foliage. The other thing you probably noticed, and you all may know this, very important, that when you water your mums, you water them at the base. You don't want to water them over the top and get all their foliage wet. They're really sensitive to that, causing some problems for them. So just remember, when you water your mums, make sure you're watering them down below at the soil level. So whether you're using a watering can or like me using my hose, you notice how I lifted the foliage up and tucked the hose sort of at the base so that it wouldn't drench that beautiful foliage. The other thing you probably noticed is it's not a big wow yet, because I buy my mums with the buds barely cracking, barely open. I don't want to go and put a mum in here that's completely open and completely flowered out, because it won't last as long as something like this. You know, of course, if I was doing a party or an event and I needed flower power, bam, right away, of course I'd get them already flowered out. But I'm hoping that these mums will be in here for at least a month until our first hard frost. So fingers crossed. I'll for sure bring you back and give you some close-ups of these beautiful containers once those purple mums start to really show off. So the aquapots in front of the greenhouse are already potted up. You got to come along with me for that. And now I'm going to tackle this simple, easy little potting project. And I have picked out some really pretty ceramic pots that we have that are this beautiful sort of rusty burgundy. And I just thought this kind of screams fall, in my opinion. And so it's going to be so easy. You all know how to pot up plants, but I just want to show you the process and let you know that I moved a table out and over here because I was in the greenhouse. Woo, doggies, it's already 85 degrees in there. And so I thought this might be a cooler spot. I'm getting a lot of breeze. In fact, it might get a little windy. Hurricane Helene that hit Florida and hit Georgia so badly in the Carolinas. We are feeling a slight effect all the way up here in Missouri by some pretty heavy winds off and on. So it might get a little windy out here, but I've got my mic on, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. Before I place these beauties in these pots, I want to just show you behind me that there is still so much beauty in my garden. And here we are, just, I don't know, a day or two away from the first day of October. You all know about beautiful purple fountain grass. That is amazing for fall. Even though it's grown most of the summer, it will look beautiful until a really hard freeze. I mean, I probably won't pull that out of that pot for a long, long time this fall. And I don't know if I'm in front of it, but this coleus, you all saw me in the beginning of the summer. I'm crazy for coleus, and you saw me pot up a bunch of coleus and also put a lot of coleus in the ground. And gosh, they just do great in my Zone 6 garden. And this pot here has 3 coleus, and actually I overplanted. That pot is enormous. You can't really see it under there, but look how gorgeous that is. I mean, talk about fall color. So I would encourage you, if you can access some beautiful coleus that has some purples and rust colors, I mean, that would be great for beautiful fall displays and fall containers. But today I'm going to use mums, these sweet little ornamental peppers. They're not edible. I grow lots of other peppers in my garden that you can eat, but not these, and those sweet little pansies. So let's get to it. Super simple. The thing that I would say is you do not have to completely repot your mums. A lot of folks will buy mums from the garden center and just chuck them in a decorative pot. That's great. I choose to actually pull it out and put it in. This is not new soil. This is some leftover soil from another project I had. I had a huge pot that I thought, you know, they're only going to be in here about a month or so. And so I don't want to start over. I will not be putting fertilizer in any of these because, again, I don't need them to keep pumping out beauty for months and months like my annuals do for summer. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you. And so, yeah, let's just get to it. You're going to see, I'm going to use the technique I use sometimes. I'm going to put the original container it came in down in here, and I'm going to fill soil all around the edge and hopefully ease this out and then just set that down in. Once this is in the pot, it's really hard because it's so big. It's really hard to fill the edges to get up nice and close to the root ball. So I think I'm going to try that method and see if it's in the center and see how that works. Move my coffee. I guess I should wear gloves. You know me. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Oh, but I managed to bring 2 right-handed gloves. So guess what? Not going to use the gloves. All right. So I've got some extra potting soil here. There's a lot of potting soil already down in here, as I mentioned, but let's just use this. Again, I said it was going to be windy, and I'm going to use this to go around the edges. Oh. Let's see if that works, and pack it in there and then lift this out so that my mom has a lot of nice soil around the edge. This method also works really well. You've seen me do it on some of my other videos when I'm really potting up lots and lots of pots in the early summer or late spring, where if you're potting smaller things and you're putting several things in, you can put, all of those containers in and lift them out and then just pop your annuals in. Oh my gosh, it works so well. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Again, there is no one right way to garden. My goodness, no. It's your chance to be creative. Do what works for you. Try different things. I'm always trying new things in my garden. It's fun to experiment, I think. Okay, so let's see if this will work. Twist it, pull it. Oh, beautiful. And so you can't see, and I don't want to tip the pot because I don't want it to collapse, but this root ball is going to fit perfectly in my pot. You just make sure it's down in there nice. All right. Now I am not going to water this in yet because I'm actually going to probably have to have my husband take this up to the screen and porch for me. So I think I'll pot everything, take them up, and then water them in up there in place, because otherwise they'll be way too heavy to manage. So, and the pots are heavy too. They're beautiful, but they're heavy. All right, there we go. There's one, Mom. So let's do these fun little ornamental peppers. I mean, they're adorable. I love these so much. All right, let's see how they're going to fit. So again, I've already got some extra soil in here from another project that I didn't need, and I might have a little too much. So bring up my soil and my scoop. I think I'll just take a little bit out. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see how these might fit. Oh, yeah. Those are going to fit really well. Let me try this one. See how it will fit. It's always a good idea, too, when you're going to be potting up things, that you make sure you've watered your plants a little bit before you do the potting so they're not bone dry. So you always want to try to do that. I think that's going to work just fine. I mean, how easy is that, right? Those fit those containers perfectly. All right, let's move this. And now these don't have any soil, so I hope, I don't know, I might have to go back and get some more potting mix for these. Let's see, I'll try to start by dividing it. Yeah, I can tell already I'm going to need some more potting soil, so I'm going to run to my greenhouse and get that. Okay, well, it was cloudy, now it's sunny. So, that's life here in Missouri. All right, so all I have left are these two little pots for these beautiful pansies. I just love this color. It's not bright orange and it's not yellow, it's pumpkin colored. It's just beautiful. So, I needed some more soil. So, let's top these pots off. And the wind has picked up. But you know what? I'm not complaining. Golly. I feel horrible about all those folks that have had to struggle through this Helene hurricane. It's just terrible, terrible. All right. So these are about 7 inches, maybe 6, 7 inches. And I've got 8 of these. And so I'm thinking, honestly, I don't know. I think maybe I'm going to pack them full. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 pansies in each pot, and they will fill in beautifully and give us lots of color up on the screened-in covered porch. And as I mentioned earlier with the other pansies that I planted, they can take a lot of cold, a really surprisingly amount of cold. They do need some sun for sure, but they can take some frost. Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep these pansies going on the covered porch, but because it's a covered porch, they should be less susceptible to actually frost damage on the foliage and on the blooms. So, I'm expecting and hoping for good things in terms of their longevity. So there's one, could not be easier. Okay, let's do the last one. Again, I'm not using any kind of fertilizer. I don't need these to last for months and months and months like my beautiful summer annuals. But they are going to add a lot of pretty color when the weather really starts to cool off. And it's just going to be so pretty. I'm ready for the change of seasons. I don't know about you all, but as gardeners, I absolutely love the abundance of summer. But boy, after months and months of a lot of hard gardening, it's nice to kind of slow down a little bit and enjoy what fall brings. That could not have been easier. All 5 pots are full of beautiful orange and gold colors. So the next thing I need to do is get them up on the covered porch. I will take the camera along and show you all where they end up in our house. Managed to get all 5 pots in their spot on our covered porch. They're looking really cute. And so I thought I'd do a little tiny bit more decor today, and I'll probably be adding to this in the next week or so when I find some more really cute fall things at my local nursery. But I thought I would put some cute little pumpkins and gourds in this trough. I'm just amazed at all the varieties that you can find that are available. I just think it's just incredible. All the beautiful little pumpkins and gourds and things that I don't ever remember having as a child. At least we didn't have them where I grew up. So it's just a lot of fun to add some interest, some fun things to look at and enjoy during this season. So, pretty sweet, I'd say. So here's a close-up view of our 5 pots that we brought up to the deck. We've got the sweet ornamental peppers and those pretty little petunias, and of course the golden orange mum in the center. I think that's going to really be so pretty for fall, and added in a few pumpkins and gourds on this little wooden tray on this table, and I'll come back and add in lots more things in the next week or so, things like pine cones and, you know, anything that's fall and festive. But meanwhile, we still have summer annuals going strong that I'm not willing to part with yet, like the Supertunia Vista Paradise. I've got coleus over here and more coleus. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed watching me transform some of my pots from summer annuals to fall annuals, potting up some beautiful mums and pansies, and this time ornamental peppers. That was really a new thing for me, and I think I'm going to, I know I'm going to enjoy them because I'm looking at them right now and I think they're adorable. I will bring you along and let you see the progress because, of course, they're going to grow over the next week or two. They're going to be opening up and showing much more color than you got to see today. And I'm just wishing you all happy gardening. I'm hoping that you're going to be somewhere where fall will soon be approaching and you're going to be able to make that transition from summer into fall and try to enjoy this season just as much as the last. So we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Take care.